Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Journey of an Average Gamer, Missed Edition. In this first episode, we're going to be going over the beginning. Now, this game is actually a puzzle game, and we'll be, in this beginning part, opening up the different ages. So you have the Channelwood age, the Seletnic age, the Stoneship age, and the Mechanical age. So we're going to open up each one of those ages in this video, and we're going to visit those ages separately in separate videos. Now, one thing you want to do is make sure that you grab a pen and paper if you would want to, or if you any kind of means of photograph, maybe your phone. And the reason being is that there's going to be, because this is a puzzle game, there's going to be some things that we need to jot down and revisit. So this is actually going to be my first game offering up commentary. So when it comes to reading the books, if you want to slow down and read the books and pause this video, feel free. But I'm going to offer my commentary for the first time, so that way we can walk through this game. Now, this game is going to be a full walkthrough, but it's not going to be a complete 100%. And the reason being is that there's actually two different modes in the beginning of the game. You have the regular classic mode, and then you have randomized mode. Now, the thing about randomized mode that's going to be different is that randomized mode means the puzzles are going to be different. So because this is going to be random mode, what you see on my screen is not what you're going to see on your screen, which is why I'm going to add my commentary so that way there's no confusion. Now, if it was in classic mode, because this game is classic PC, basically each one of the puzzles will be the same regardless of whatever you're playing. So I'm going to add my commentary. So please be a little bit patient with me. I do have a little bit of a drift in my controller. So accompanied with the drift in my controller, because I accidentally stepped on it, and the wonky Windows 95 outdated version of this game, the controls are going to be a little bit funky for me, especially since it's a computer game. So bear with me. So guys, I hope you enjoy the first episode of Myth.
I realized the moment I fell into the fissure that the book would not be destroyed as I had planned. It continued falling into that starry expanse of which I had only a fleeting glimpse. I've tried to speculate where it might have landed, but I must admit that such conjecture is futile. Still, questions about whose hands might one day hold my missed book are unsettling to me. I know my apprehensions might never be allayed, and so I close, realizing that perhaps the ending has not yet been written.
All right, so basically you're going to just read this book, and then things will get started. In the beginning, it'll prompt you to hit the menu. So I'm just going to go in the menu and do a couple of things. And yeah, you can skip that part if you want to, but I actually edited it out. That way you don't really have to worry about my menu settings. Whatever is more comfortable with you, you go ahead and make those settings. Loading screens. Hmm. Can you imagine how bad loading screens were back in the old Windows 95 days? Yeah. So this is going to be basically the beginning area where you're going to start off with. And as soon as you walk forward, it's going to prompt you to, go in your menu. I'm going to go in the menu, switch a couple of things, and now I'm out of my menu. And there's going to be 4 switches that we're going to toggle. Now, there's more switches than just 4. There's about 8, but we're just going to toggle the 4 needed to go to the 4 different worlds. Now, as you can see, the little drift of my controller just going everywhere. So don't mind that. We toggled the first 2 switches, then we're going to go to this rocket ship. And we're going to toggle that switch. And then we're going to go down this hill. And to the left, there's going to be a little shack. And then we're going to flip that switch next to the shack. All right. Now that we flip that switch, we're going to go inside the main hall area right here. And as you can see, the pictures on the left and the right, they're going to be able to open the pathways for us and open up the pathway out as well. So we're going to go to this map and we're going to rotate the dial and we're going to rotate it down to the gear section. So every time you flip a switch, a different area of the map is going to pop up. So since we only flip 4 switches, only 4 of the areas in the map are going to pop up. Now, in order for us to go to the next part, we're going to activate this picture right here, and it's going to actually close the door behind us. So if I turned around, the way that we came in is now closed. So now this is where our pen and paper is going to actually come in handy. So we're going to go down this elevator down to the library. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at the wall, and whatever's on the wall, we're going to make sure we take that sticky note or our pen and paper, and we're going to jot that note down. And we're going to do this for every one of the 4 areas. So as you can see, the first area is going to say the time, which is going to be 1 o'clock, 1:45 to be specific, and then there's going to be 3 numbers. That's going to be 311. That's going to be important when we open the clock door tower. We're going to actually have to set that time, and there's going to be like some gears that we're going to have to line up. So from left to right is going to be at the dial from top to bottom. So it's going to be 311 is what we're going to have to set from top to bottom. Now the next thing we're going to do is interact with the picture again, and we're going to turn the dial to the next area. Now things down bottom would have shifted. So now we're just going to go down bottom. We're going to do this for every map. Turn the dial, go downstairs, and check the puzzle. We're going to keep going back and forth between the lobby and the library to get our clues. So now here, when we look at the picture, this is going to be very important. Now, if you want to pause the game and pause your game and jot down whatever 3 dates that you have, go ahead and take a picture or jot down the 3 dates, because it's important that you write down everything, because we're going to have to go to the observatory and we're going to have to type in each and every last one of those dates and the time into the computer system in the observatory. So make sure you have those jotted down. Now at the observatory, there is going to be military time. So when we get there, I'm going to make sure that I put a little time schedule up there for you, so that way you won't get lost, because some of us don't use military time. Now we're going to turn the dial to the next area and go back down. Now, This next set of buttons is going to be for the safe, and those numbers for me is going to be 154. But whatever your numbers are, make sure you drop those 3 numbers down, because this is going to be for the safe. Now, last but not least, remember that little rocket ship that we actually visited? Well, we're going to have to power that up. So the next puzzle that we're going to do is we're going to get how many volts it's going to take to power up. Now, if we go over the voltage, we're going to, blow a fuse, trip the circuit breaker. So you're going to have to go through a headache of resetting the circuit breakers and then do it all over again. So make sure that you follow the voltage. When we get down to the voltage, I'll show you exactly what I mean. So as you can see on the wall, I need 60 volts in order to power the spaceship. I can't go over 60 volts. So whatever buttons I decide to press, they're going to have to equal 60 volts. And I don't want to go over that 60 volts, or I'll trip the circuit breakers and I'll have to flip a couple of switches in order to reset and then do that all over again. So now we jotted down the amount of voltage we need, and make sure you write down your voltage needs. And this is going to be the last time we actually do this up and down to the library in this part. So as you can see, that one opened up the pathway. This one is going to close the pathway. So we're going to interact with that picture. The secret passageway is going to close, and then the door is going to open up so we can get out. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go down the hill and go to the right. And this is where we're going to go to the voltage area in order for us to power up the spaceship. Now, if you look on the wall behind us, there's going to be a little picture that tells us the power to the ship, and the generator switches. The left column is going to be from 1 to 5, and the other is going to be from 6 to 10. So each one of those 1 through 10 switches is going to have a different value number for the actual switch. And how do you know what those values are? You can actually switch the buttons and switch them on and off to see the value. So when you press the button, you're going to see the dial change, and then when you turn it off, it's going to change back. See, the first one is going to be 10. And as you continue to go on, the second one is going to be 7. The third button is going to be 8. The fourth is going to be 16. The fifth is going to be 5. It makes it easier when you use the toggle button and not the analog stick. The sixth is going to be 1. The seventh is going to be 2. The third is going to be 22. The ninth is going to be 19. And the 10th button is going to be number 9. Now remember, whatever voltage you have, you can't go over those amount of volts. So mine's is 60. So what that means is the buttons that I have to press here all have to add up to 60 in order for us to fully power the spaceship. So you're going to have to do a little bit of math here. As you can see, I got the pictures up of the number values, so you don't have to keep worrying about it. That makes it a little bit easier. And then all you have to do at that point is input your values. so I went ahead and put in 22. 16. I went ahead and put in 7. Put in 10. That brings me up to 55, and the last 5 is going to be number 5. Now I'm going to be up to 60 watts or 60 volts. Now unlock the achievement in order to unlock the generator puzzle. And now I'm ready to go on to the next. Now this next puzzle is going to be a little bit of a requires a little bit more caution, and I'll show you once we get to the spaceship. Now we can use the button to open up the spaceship door, because now we have access to the spaceship. So in order for us to do this puzzle, we're going to actually have to input the keys on the keyboard, then put them in the panel behind us. So in order for us to know which keys we need to press, we need to look at the book to show us the clue as to what buttons we need to press. So once we go back into the main library room, we're going to interact with one of these books, and we're going to interact with the book that tells us about the spaceship, which is going to be this one down bottom, the bottom left hand side. So we're going to keep moving until we get to the picture of the actual keyboard. Now this is where having a camera does come in handy again, because you don't want to have to draw out the keys. So it's easy to just snap a picture of the camera with your camera of the piano keys. So everything that we're going to input, we're going to snap a picture of this keyboard, and the numbers that we see are going to be the order in which numbers that we're going to have to press. So we're going to have to press numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in that order, and those are going to be the keys that you see on the keyboard. Now once we press those buttons on the keyboard, it'll give you the actual sound. And what we're gonna do now is, when you see the sound that is actually hit, write down that note, because we're gonna have to do that again on the other side. Now when it comes to this achievement, to get the achievement for this, you have to do this all in one try. So what you're gonna see me do now is I'm gonna save the game, so that way if I screw up, I can just reload the save game and redo the puzzle, and then that way I'll be able to get the achievement, because the achievement is getting this done in one try. Okay, my game saved. Now let's go ahead and play the keys in order according to the picture, and we're going to write down the notes. Okay, faulty controls here. Let's see. Okay, now that we have access to it, we're going to carefully strike the first one, which is going to be F sharp 1. So you're going to write down F sharp 1. That's going to be the first key that we played. The next note we're going to play is E2. So write down E2. Now I'm trying to be careful with this because the sensitivity, I should fiddle with the sensitivity. The next key we're going to play is E1. So make sure you jot down E1. That's going to be the third key. The fourth key is going to be A1. And the fifth key is going to be B1. Now that's basically on the dialogue. So 9 times out of 10, we're going to be having the same puzzle, because since it was on the picture, I think this is one of the things on the randomizer mode that's the same across the board. Now what we're going to do, this is going to be weird. So you remember when I said jot down the notes as to which one you're going to do first? What we're going to do is use the button pad, the directional pad, not the analog, and the right bumper to move it looks like the little EQ slot up for each one. So the first one is going to be F sharp 1. Then we're going to move the second one up to E1. I mean E2, excuse me, E2. The next one, the third one, we're going to move it up to E1 because that's our third tone. Then we're going to go to our fourth tone, which is going to be A1. So go ahead and move that up to A1. A1. And now our last tone is going to be B1. So we're going to move everything up to B1. And then once we go up to B1, now we can actually hit that lever to the right of us. Yeah, stupid controls, man. Now we flip the switch, and our achievement is in the top, and that's going to be a book that's going to take us to one of our newly unlocked levels. But we're not going to go to that level just yet. We're going to make sure we unlock the other levels first. So we got our achievement, doing it on the first try. Now we're going to go to the clock tower. Now I'm going to waste a little bit of time here on this clock tower because of the controls. The controls are a little bit wonky. Now, the time that we actually had that we jotted down on our paper was 1:45 and 3:11, which on your paper is going to be something different. Now, just like the hands on the clock, the long hand indicates the minutes and the short hand indicates the hour. Now, the problem I had with this puzzle is controlling the minutes and hours hands is going to be a little bit different. So when it comes to the long hand, you're going to keep rotating that long hand until the long hand that you see on the clock on the far side goes to the minutes in which you have on your paper. So don't put the turn on where the minutes hand should be on that little dial thing. No, make sure you pay attention to the clock in the background and it lines up with the clock in the background. Now, as you can see right now, the hand is on the 45, but I'm having trouble trying to access that shorthand. So you can see I'm trying to get the shorthand, but it's not letting me. I don't know exactly what button I pressed because at this point in time, I'm thinking, hey, the game's glitching. I might just have to reset. Things are gonna be wonky. So I just kept trying. And eventually I was able to access the shorthand and get the 1:45 on the clock that I had written down in my clue. So I'm gonna fiddle with it for a little bit longer, as you can see, but you're probably gonna have the same issues too, considering the fact that this game is an old PC game, a very old PC game. You can see the frustration. Yeah. I'm getting ready to hit that reset button. Trying to get this stupid hours hand to move. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to fiddle a little bit more with the controls and try to work with the directional pad, the D-pad, instead of the analog stick. I think that would helped me greatly. Because again, with this game, being it that it is for PC, you're used to using the mouse, you know, just clicking, point and click. Playing this on an actual console is going to be a little bit more of a different beast. Anger, frustration. Now, most people will probably rage quit at this point. Okay, let's try this one more time. Oh, there we go. Now I can access the hours hand. Now to get it to 1 o'clock and get back to the hour. No, back to 1 o'clock. I want to use the minutes hand now again. Come on. Random button pushing got me this far. Come on. Okay, now we got to the minute hand. Now I can go ahead and go get it to 1:45. Boom. Now, once you get it to the time that is specified on your paper, what you're gonna see is on the right hand side, there's gonna be a little bit of a path, a little stone path come up from the water, kind of like the raft in Avengers. You just follow that path, and then you're gonna hit the yellow button to open up the door. Now, when you open up this room, there's gonna be a total of 3 gears. That's what's gonna be the 3 numbers underneath the time. Now, again, like I told you, from left to right is gonna be from top to bottom. So my number is 311. Now, fortunately for me, it's 311, which means I'm only gonna have to hit the left lever. I'm gonna have to hit the left lever only once, and I'm gonna instantaneously get my 3. So I don't really have to toggle with these 2 levers, but you would toggle between levers in order to get the gears to move to line up to the combination underneath the time that you had in your notes. So as you can see, I'm hitting the left lever once, and now I have my 311, and I have my achievement as well. So now, by opening up this time room and finishing this puzzle, we now have access to an aid. And we're going to go to that aid in a little bit. So once you're done with that, we're going to go up to the little shack and we're going to open up the door. And this is where our combination code is going to come into play, the other 3-number combination code. Now remember, my combination code was 154. So whatever your combination code is, you're going to go ahead and you're going to input it right here on the pad and then hit the lever. So I have 1. Weird controls. And then we're going to turn this to 5. And then 4. And then we're going to open up, hit the lever, open it up. Boom. Give me my achievement. Thank you. Safe cracker, 20 G's. And now that we got our achievement, what we're going to do is we're going to interact with that ignite button. I hit it more than once, but you know, once is enough. And what it's going to do is going to actually ignite the pilot to the furnace right next to us. So what we're going to do now is, now that you see the pilot that's been lit underneath that boiler, we want the pressure to go up in order for that sequoia tree to go up. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take this red lever and we're going to turn it to the right by hitting the right bumper. Still trying to get a handle on this controls, being a little bit funny. And we're going to turn it to the right. That's going to make the sequoia tree that you see in the picture on the other side of the boiler go up. And as it goes up, we're going to ride inside that sequoia as it goes up. So as you can see, we're going to keep pressing it all the way to the right to make sure that pressure gauge goes fully to the right. And that's the sequoia tree we're going to ride. And that sequoia tree is right outside on the right-hand side of the building. See that big sequoia tree? We're going to ride it. But if you look down, there's going to be like a little elevator compartment. We're going to jump in. And once we jump in, we're going to automatically zoom up to the top and get an achievement. Boom. 20 G. Now, once you hit the button, we're going to be down at the bottom. You don't have to do this next part, but I did it anyway. I basically took the red valve and I turned it all the way to the left. And by turning it all the way to the left, you're going to actually make the sequoia tree go down into its natural position. But we're going to actually ride that down a little bit later. So this is kind of a little bit of an unnecessary thing. Now this last part we're going to do is going to be the trickiest of the puzzles. And having your phone for your picture is going to actually come in well. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to come in here and we're going to have to input the times and the dates and the times into the constellation finder. So we're going to not sit in a chair, but pretend you're sitting in a chair. Now the first one, I already did it. I kind of panned out to it. But this is what the console is going to look like. You have days, your month, your days, your years, and your time down at the bottom. Now you have to actually shift the handle on the left in order to switch between what you're going to do, and to the left, those directional pads to adjust it. So this one is the first one I have already adjusted, February 3rd, 5010, and the hour is going to be 3:12 a.m. So that's what it's going to look like. Remember, this is military time, so go ahead and reflect to the little chart that you see on the side for the military time, and let that be your guide as to what the time is. Now, what you want to do is you want to take a picture of the picture that you see right here of the constellation, because the picture of the constellation is what's going to be in the book. We have to find that constellation. So the next one we're actually going to look up, after we looked up the one for February, is we're going to look up October 11th, 1984. So the first one is October 11th. Go down. We're going to type in 1984, and then we're going to do 10:04 a.m., which is going to be pretty easy because it's in the morning. Usually, most people don't remember military time until it gets past noon. Then you have to start counting past 12. But now we're going to type in 10:04, and then we're going to press that little center button. Press that button, and now it's searching through the time, and it's going to find the constellation. Boom. Now go ahead and take a picture of that, or take a picture of whatever constellation that you have on your picture, because what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to find these constellations in a book. So this is why the picture actually helps out. So now that we finished the October, the last one we're going to have to input is going to be November 23rd, 9791 at 6:57 p.m. That's going to be the next one we're going to input into our destination pad. So what I'm going to do is go over, move the lever up, switch it to November. Like I said, this is kind of wonky playing it on the controller. Switch this to 23rd. This next date, 9791. We'll probably all be dirt by the time 97, 91 comes. Makes you wonder how far in the future this actually is. Or maybe it's in the past and we're calculating forward. All right, now this next one is going to be 6:57 p.m. So 6 o'clock in military time is going to be 13. Oh, excuse me. 18 is military time. Yeah, 18. And once you input the last destination and hit the button, you're going to get an achievement for it. So make sure you take a little snapshot of each one of the constellations. And now we're going to go back to that main area in the middle of the map. And we're going to interact with the constellation book. And that's going to tell us which constellation we're actually going to have, because there's going to be a puzzle that comes up next. So the upper right hand book is going to be a book of constellations. So what you're going to do is you're going to look at your picture, and you're going to find out which constellations match the constellations that you have in your picture. And that's going to let you know which constellations you're going to have to select in the next puzzle coming up after this one, the last puzzle, I should say. Now, for me, I'm over here looking, but it turns out that the 3 constellations that I actually have are going to be the leaf, the cross, and the beetle. So I wrote down leaf, cross, beetle. Still looking. As you can see, the cross and the beetle actually match up 2 of the constellations that I actually have. I ended up having to look again once I found the leaf, because the way it looked on my picture didn't quite catch my eye for the beetle. So I continued to look. And for kicks, you know, just looking through to see what constellations that they actually have. But you'll see which constellations they have in the next puzzle. Now, as you can see, these books that I'm grabbing off the shelf, I'm kind of flipping through the pages kind of fast. If you wanted to slow down and read the pages so you can get a better feel for the story, feel free to go ahead and read each book if you want to. Now, the last constellation I had was the leaf. All right. Now that we got our constellations, we're going to go to the front right here where you see this little well. Now, as you can see on the left and right sides, there's going to be these little lights. You see how that one is across? What you want to do is you want to turn on the ones for the 3 pictures of the 3 constellations you have. And if it doesn't match like that snake, just go ahead and turn it off. Okay, I have the cross and I have the beetle. And that's the anchor. Nope, turn that off. That is not what I was looking for. Yeah. There's that last one, the leaf. Okay. So now I opened up the 3 lights for the 3 constellations that I have, and I got an achievement for it. Now, as you can see behind me, the ship is rising out of the water. There it is. So we got that achievement. Now, this is pretty much going to be the last achievement, or the last bit of this beginning part, the beginning chapter. So now we have access to each one of the different ages. Now, the next one we're going to go to is this age right here, the mechanical age. And in order for us to get to the age, we're going to have to go in that book. But I'm going to end the video here, so I hope you enjoy. Hey guys, thank you for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're interested in getting free crypto and free stocks when you sign up, use my referral links down in the description. Until then, I'll see you in the next journey.